So, Buck, the party of science, as we have established, not really the party of science when you actually look at data. News came down yesterday. 3-year men's swimmer who decides to become a woman and is now prepared to become the greatest women's swimmer of all time. University of Pennsylvania swimmer. If you haven't heard this story, it's probably because most sports media haven't covered it other than Outkick. This is crazy, Buck. The Ivy League has said this transgender swimmer is eligible to compete in the Ivy League championships, and now there may be, I'm not even making this up, the all-time greatest swimmer in the history of college athletics for women is going to be a man who decided to become a woman. At what year in the past would you have to go to say that and everyone not immediately erupt in laughter thinking it was satire? I mean, even as recently as 2008, 2010. I mean, do you remember the movie Juwanna Mann with the Wayans brothers where the idea was this dude was going to pretend to be a girl and become the greatest WNBA player of all time? It was played for laughs. That was the satire of, oh, there's no way this could ever happen. And now, in theory, this is a legitimate thing that threatens to destroy all of women's athletics. If you can just decide what your gender is, and after you've already been a successful male athlete, you can become a woman, there's no point in women's athletics.
This was actually an early tip-off in many ways about where we were heading pre-COVID, before the whole COVID pandemic happened, because the blue-check MDs, they're the same ones that appeared to say during lockdowns, well, we don't want anyone gathering except for BLM protests because those
right.
are like really important. Though that same mentality has existed. You've seen this with what you could consider the blue check activist MDs on the issue of transgender rights. They will go out publicly and go into all this babble about how, but gender is different from sex and gender identity. They create all this language to try to obscure the fact that these are men who are biological men. This is an objective scientific reality. They have XY chromosome all over in every cell in their bodies, and they act like this is not something that is observable and distinct and important. And you have to wonder after a while why they want to push this so hard. I really believe this. There's two things. One, they need the left needs a new civil rights struggle, a new cause where they get to pretend to be the heroes. I mean, this is not a civil rights struggle. This is the left acting like a bunch of lunatics. Okay, that's one part of it. The other part of it, on transgender competition in sports, we all understand this is wrong. The other part of it, though, Clay, is that if they can get you to say that a man is a woman and a woman is a man, what can't they get you to say? They'll debase your ability to reason.
And what's wild about this is we have weight classes for boxing. We have different divisions for sports, let's say in high school, based on whether you go to a big school or a small school, 5A, 1A, however it's classified in your state. We have different gradations of competition based on age. Yet this situation is taking over women's athletics, and you're going to have in the record books the greatest women's swimmer of all time is going to be a dude. And people out there on the left are either pretending this story isn't happening or they are welcoming it as if it is some sign of equality. Maybe we just need to eliminate men's and women's athletics in general and go back 100% to the days when only men won competitions because women would never win anything if we had unisex competitions.